Here's a random question I have for you.
Yeah.
When exactly would you consider Vulcans and the Romulans? Yeah. What point in time do Romulans and Vulcans become different species?
Well, as far as I can tell, they were still technically the same species. Like, they should still be able to breed together without any real difference. But I would say...
Yeah, but humans and Vulcans can breed.
Well, the
breeding factor doesn't matter. I'm just trying to say, at what point in time did they start becoming different species?
I would have to say that was at least 5,000 or 10,000 years.
Yeah.
It has to be long enough ago that Vulcans had no idea that it happened, or have forgotten that it happened, because that episode, Balance of Terror, Spock is so shocked to see Romulans that look like Vulcans that he's like, if these people are an actual spin-off of my race, we need to blow them up and blow them up now. Because pre-logical Vulcans are so dangerous, we can't mess around with it. But I would figure it has to be thousands of years, because it has to be literally forgotten.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what I wondered. That's exactly what that's just one of the things I've wondered.
Yeah, I'm sure like Memory Beta or Memory Alpha probably has an answer. Somebody's probably answered that, but probably not satisfactorily.
Probably not.
Yeah. Because every time you read into something like that, there's like these huge, like, oh, they always put it like too recently. And then there's like this huge story. Like, nobody would have forgotten this in that amount of time.
True.
That'd be like us having no memory of the Civil War.
I was going to say, or us having no memory of World War III in 1996.
Yeah.
Which I don't.
Oh, you forgot about that?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe it. Yeah.
I kind of think they are doing stuff to try to correct that right now. Because you saw that.
How?
Did you watch Picard season 2?
No.
Okay. So at the end of Picard season 2, Dr. Noonien Soong, after having all his plans dashed ahead of him, pulls a file out of a cabinet, and it says Project Khan, established 1996.
Oh, so it's like a secret Cold War kind of thing?
Yeah, so I think there's these, in the first episode of Strange New Worlds, Pike hints at, he says, first it was, whatever, like riots in the streets, and they show the January 6th riots. And he goes, and then it was the eugenics wars, and then it was just World War III.
I just don't get it. Like, just make it in a fictional timeline where there was a World War III in 1996. That's what I say. Just screw it. Just say there was a fake war that, yes, obviously didn't happen in real life, but we're talking about a fictional universe anyway. So what difference does it make? I say just do it.
But you're talking about people who actually felt like they had to explain why Klingons didn't have ridges on their foreheads.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with just going, things happen different there than they happened here. Or
that's what I'm saying.
Hey, after Picard chased the Borg into the past and they left some Borg in the Arctic, things happened a little differently. Then we're not really sure where the differences happened anymore.
Or maybe they could say there was going to be World War III in 1996, but after, they saved the whales.
Yeah. And there's a lot of ways you can just go like, hey, this little altercation in time changed everything.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that. But also, I don't think you have to draw a strict point onto it.
True.
It's just, I kind of feel like every time we try to explain things, you just monkey up the works even worse.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That definitely happens.
Remember when John Byrne tried to explain all of Superman's powers?
Yeah.
And it just like, okay, I get it. It works, but it's also kind of boring now and nothing new can ever happen.
That's fair. I mean, although I loved the John Byrne reboot, especially because it gave me the rebooted Lex Luthor, and I'm always going to be grateful for that.
John Byrne did a great reboot. It just, I kind of feel like sometimes he did a couple things a little too far. He went a little further than you needed to in the explanation.
Now, see, I think Jeff Johns does a really good job of cleaning up continuity and just shoehorning it all together to make sense. Like, I think he's great at that.
Oh, I do too. But apparently, I don't know, he angered somebody somewhere and is not allowed to have a job anymore or something.
Oh, he got canceled? I didn't know that.
Well, what happened to him? Because they put him in charge of all of DC, 5 to 7 years ago, and then it disappeared after a year.
Oh, I guess that would explain a lot. Like, Jeff Loeb, I thought got canceled, but maybe he didn't because they're re-releasing new pages of Hush and with Jim Lee, and I don't know if that's like stuff that just hasn't been released or if they re-collaborated. I'm like, if they re-collaborated, that's surprising.
Yeah, you know what? I don't watch comics as close as I used to, so I can't say for sure.
Batman Hush is just like my favorite story arc of all time. So
which one?
I mean, Batman Hush is just my favorite story arc of all time. So that's why I'm very invested into it. But with Jeff Loeb, saying what he said, this makes everything really awkward in hindsight.
So the new 52, granted, again, I'm a little old to be sitting around reading comic books and complaining about it. But like the new 52 came out and I kind of went like, that was my sign. Like, okay, dude, it has nothing to do with you anymore.
Agreed. I hated it too.
Yeah.
But they got rid of it, so it doesn't matter.
Well, but that's when they said like, oh, hey, Jeff Johns is taking over. And he did the Watchmen crossover and the Rebirth series, and he had all this stuff going on.
Oh, the Watchmen crossover never happened. Don't you understand? That's how this works. That never happened. Watchmen is one book and only one book, and that's it.
You know what? I'm actually okay with that. That's the way it should have been. But
exactly.
Yeah. But all this stuff started going on, and then it just kind of quietly fizzled out in the background. Because I was like kind of excited to see how they were going to fix the things they were going to fix, and they were going to put it more in line with the movie universe.
And
it just
that's going swimmingly.
Yeah. How do you take those? You take those properties and just muck them up as bad as they did, and I don't get it.
Zack Snyder is the reason. Zack Snyder is the Vince Russo of comic book movies.
Oh my god! And here's the thing: like his Dawn of the Dead, I liked. 300, I liked.
I hated 300.
Oh, did you? Okay. And Watchmen, did you see what Terry Guillaume was going to do to Watchmen?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm one of those weird old people that just say Watchmen is unfilmable and everything is a ripoff of Watchmen. I'm that guy. Like,
No, I get that. That's a perfectly valid viewpoint to have.
Yeah, there's always that guy. I'm one of them. I'm glad to see you're one of them too. But yeah, Watchmen is unfilmable. That's just the way it works. I feel like Zack Snyder got as close to filming Watchmen as you can get. Nope, disagree. Just right off the bat, my problem is with it, like, they show the fight with the comedian instead of just starting at the investigation scene. They seem like they have superpowers right from the beginning because they're punching through stone. Everything's going in slow motion. So from the beginning, I was upset. And they cut out some of my favorite parts, but also when you have the text in between chapters, there's no way you're going to film that unless you want the audience to sit there staring at a screen and reading for, 10-minute intervals.
They did a version where they did the Black Freighter stuff.
Yeah. I despite me talking about how much I hate this, I actually own that. I actually own that on DVD. So the extended Crazy Psycho version. So.
Yeah. Now that one actually, its runtime hit too long for me to actually sit through.
Yeah, but so as much as I'm complaining, I physically bought it like a crazy person. So,
but I appreciated the fact that they actually attempted it because there were like 2 complaints about it, about his Watchmen. It was like, oh, where's the Black Freighter stuff? Because that's where you understand Ozymandias. And then there's, what about the squid? And I'm just like, man, if you wanted that movie to be 19 and a half hours long, address those 2 things.
No, the squid, well, see, that's my other issue too. They extended other parts that didn't need to be done. And if we cut out all the slow-mo, that movie cuts down in time real quick.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
But also, Under the Hood was actually my favorite part of the series of Watchmen that was taken out that drove me crazy. So. We got a little bit of that with the extended version, and that's pretty much why I bought it, because I wanted the Under the Hood parts.
Gotcha. Did you see HBO's redo, or not redo, did you see HBO's miniseries of Watchmen?
I saw a little bit of it, gave up. I'm like, don't like it, I'm out.
Okay. And see, I liked it quite a bit, but I could certainly see where somebody, because like, I remember as it started, I'm like, this is Watchmen?
Like I said, there's one Watchman. That is it. That's the end of the story. There's one Watchman story in existence. Nothing else exists. That is how it works.
No, that makes perfect sense.